YouTube ads can be an infinite client generator if you know how to run consistently profitable campaigns. In the past couple of months, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours running YouTube ad campaigns for my real estate clients. And in this video, I'm going to show you my step-by-step process for getting you so good at YouTube ads that it becomes impossible for your real estate business not to grow. No fluff and no gatekeeping. Let's get into it. So today we're going to be fully breaking down YouTube ads from A to Z. I'm going to show you the high-level overview first, and then I'm going to show you how to set up your ad account. We're going to go over campaign structure and the targeting, and then we're going to transition into creating banger YouTube ads with the scripting, the recording, and then post-production. We'll go over remarketing, landing pages, lead magnets and offers, and then the cheat code. So for the high-level overview strategy, we start at the YouTube ads at the top of the funnel, basically to generate the traffic, touch on the pain points in the current market, then move on to lead magnets, which solve those pain points, go into the opt-in page, which essentially hosts the lead magnet itself, a booking page, then a thank you page. And then from here, basically, the goal is to just nurture the lead down the pipeline so they in turn become a client. So all of these steps that take the lead through this entire journey is considered a funnel. Now, most people, if you're watching this, you know what a funnel is, but you might not know why it's important to use it. And if you don't, it's crucial, because if you're not able to convert cold traffic and you're only relying on spheres of influence, you're going to have needy people. It's going to be way harder to sell, and you're not going to have enough clients or have enough referrals in order to make your business thrive. And if you don't have enough leads, you're not going to be able to build a brokerage, build out a team, make key hires, reinvest in your growth, all of the stuff that's necessary to create a successful, prosperous business. And this is going to bring us into YouTube ads itself. So the first thing you're going to want to do is actually get your account set up. So first, you're going to head on over to ads.google.com here. And once you reach this section here, what you're going to want to do is click the Start Now button, okay? Once you click the Start Now button, you're then going to be prompted to create a new Google Ads account. If you already created an account, great. If you haven't created an account, keep watching. But if you have, just wait till you can skip this part, skip throughout the video and find the part where we get into the actual campaign creation. So click the new Google Ads account, and then you're going to want to basically just go into here. It's going to bring you to this page to start because I already created an account. This is the first page it's going to bring you to as of June 2nd, 2025. They do change this all the time, Google. So just be mindful of that. It should look pretty similar regardless of when you're watching this. This should be good for at least a month or two before they change any sort of interface or the setup section, all that kind of stuff. What I find works best here is basically leaving everything blank. You do need to input something here. Just choose website, choose google.com, and then click next. It doesn't really matter. You can change this later anyway. And then from here, you're just going to want to skip all of this stuff. Just click next. And then whenever you have the ability to skip, this is where you want to skip, okay? So just click skip here, click skip here. All of this, you're going to want to click skip and then leave campaign creation. Now, if you don't, you can obviously set up a campaign while going through the account setup process, but it overcomplicates way too much stuff. And it's just much more simplistic in order to just skip the campaign creation when creating an account and then go from there. So from here, you're just going to want to confirm your account settings. This is just putting in your billing information. You're going to click continue. And then from here, you're basically just going to input your payment information. Most of the time, you don't have your card linked with your Google account, so you're just going to have the ability to change it here. And then from here, if you don't have a payment profile, just click create. It'll go through the process of adding a card, your name, all of the relevant stuff. And then once you've added that, you'll see a page that looks similar to this. And then basically, you just want to click no for the personalized guidance from a Google Ads strategist. They're trash. And then just click submit. Once this is done, you'll then be redirected to a homepage which looks like this. So the first thing you're going to do once you get back to the homepage is click the new campaign button. From here, since we're going to be generating leads, you're going to click leads. And from here, you also want to understand conversion tracking, which is basically Google's ability to track where your leads are coming from which ad, and just all of the data so it can optimize itself, the algorithm. You can actually read data that'll actually get you profitable, and it's the necessity, the non-negotiable when actually doing paid advertising. So for the sake of this, we're going to break this down in a different video. For the sake of this video, we're just going to use page views. This is what we usually end up doing anyway. And then just click continue. Next, you're going to want to choose the campaign type that you're going to be running. Because we're using YouTube ads, these are video campaigns. Nowadays, Google just basically defaults video campaigns to demand gen. So you're just going to want to choose either demand gen or video, doesn't really matter, and you're going to click continue. Then you'll be prompted to this page right here, where basically the first thing you're left with is the campaign name. Now this is the entirety of the campaign level. As you can see here, we have the budget, the location, language, devices, all that stuff. Let's break it down chronologically. So this is the format that I use in order to actually name campaigns. This is how you can organize it really well, figure out which campaign is what. And from here, just type in like your first and last name. Obviously, we're running YouTube ads. Then you're going to want to actually, don't forget this, put the type of lead you're going to be targeting. So sellers, for example. Then the audience. There are different types of audiences, which we're going to break down in a little bit. This is, typically chosen at the ad group level. But for this, I'm just going to choose in market, and I'll break down all the different targeting types in a bit. And then you want to choose the lead magnet, which is another thing we're also going to be breaking down a little bit in the video. For example, we run ebooks for sellers that run really well. The location you're going to be targeting. So I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. And then the date you're running the campaign, June 2nd, 2025. Now from here, you can leave the campaign goal on conversions because we set the conversion tracking to page views. This is good. Like I said, we'll break this down a little bit later. And then now we're going to move on to the budget. I've seen campaigns perform as well around $15 a day, but I typically recommend all my clients nowadays to run a $20 a day or more for the budget in order to actually see significant, desirable, profitable returns within a certain desirable time frame. So just leave it at 20. If you want, you can even go up to like $30, $40, whatever you want, whatever's most comfortable for you. I suggest just starting small, about $20 a day, and scaling from there. So we'll leave it at 20. And next is location and language. So you have the ability to actually set the location and language targeting in the actual ad group, but I always, basically 9 out of 10 times, recommend that you leave location and language targeting set at the campaign level. So target this on. Then for choosing another location, you're going to choose the location you actually want to target. So for this example, because we live in Charleston, we're going to choose Charleston. If we just wanted to target the city, we could do that. Or as you saw before, you can also target the Metroplex like this. You also have the ability to exclude locations. So let's say you wanted to exclude the city of Somerville, or town of Somerville rather. You can do that. You can do, like, let's say you wanted to, exclude Goose Creek as well. You can do that and target everybody else in that area. Then you can also do radiuses as well. So let's just get rid of all this. Let's say you want to do Somerville, South Carolina, and you want to do a 1 mile radius around Somerville. You can get as granular as a mile. You can do a mile around a specific neighborhood. So let's say you wanted to do Craig Court. Let's see. You can do a 1 mile radius around, as you can see, Craig Court. The point here is basically you can go as broad or as granular as you want. And that's the beauty of the targeting in YouTube ads. Then from here, for languages, most of the time, if you're doing English ads, I would just type in English. You can also leave it at all languages, but I just recommend putting English down. Doing Spanish ads, get rid of English and do Spanish. Vice versa. From here, move on to device targeting. I always find that what works best for my clients is just disabling TV screens. I always find it's a pretty difficult process to generate leads through TV screens. So just leave that unmarked. You can leave on tablets, computers, mobile phones, and that's all you really need to do for devices. And then this is basically it for the campaign level. Next, we're moving on to the ad group. So moving on to the ad group level, just in simple terms, ad groups host groups of ads. And all this means is that it basically determines specific targeting for ads outside of like the basic demographic targeting, which is hosted, as you saw before, at the campaign level. So let me show you what that looks like. So heading back on over to the campaign, as you can see here, you're going to click on the ad group level here. This is where you're going to name basically the audience you're going to be targeting. So for me, because we chose in market, this is what we're going to be targeting. Now we're going to be breaking down targeting a little bit more in depth in a second. So I'm going to explain the title of this when we actually break that down. So if I could spell correctly, next we're going to be moving on to the channels. So for YouTube ads specifically, the top performing way to actually get YouTube ads to perform the best and without wasting money on areas where you just don't need to spend your money, YouTube in-stream is the place to go. Everything else you can uncheck, and it's basically that simple. Leave it like that. I've tested all these different types, and I found with YouTube ads specifically for realtors, just have YouTube in-stream enabled. You'll be good to go. Next, we're going to break down audience targeting in a bit, but the last thing at the ad group level to uncheck every single time is optimized targeting. Google's way of basically just getting more money from you. They're going to place your videos or pictures etc., in areas that aren't necessary for your growth. It's going to override and probably place it in the Discover, Gmail, and display network settings and areas. Don't worry about that. Just uncheck it. Call it a day. So finally, at the ad level, this is going to consist of individual ads and their components, like their headlines, descriptions, call to actions, and so on. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like. We're going to actually show you how to upload your very own ad for the first time and what to put as general rule of thumbs. But for right now, let me just show you what the ad platform looks like. So all you need to do in order to access it is just come on over here and click on the ad level. As you can see here, you have the ability to choose the headlines, call to action text, your business name, etc. And we're going to be breaking this down when we upload an actual ad itself. So right before we go over the targeting, I just want to break down the two different types of campaign testing structures that work effectively for YouTube in real estate specifically. So as you can see here, this is going to be the campaign, then the ad group, and then we have the audience / the actual ads itself. So there's the 1-1, 3-5 structure, which is basically the most common structure, and it's ideal for scaling from mid to large budgets. Basically, you have one campaign, one ad group, and then 3 to 5 ads in that ad group. And then you have also the 1, 2, 3 to 5 structure as well, which is ideal for smaller budgets and has less rigid testing, which basically is just one campaign, 2 different ad groups, and then 3 to 5 ads within those different ad groups. So now moving on to targeting, there are 5 different types of targeting when it comes down to Google and YouTube ads in general. Real estate only uses a couple of them, but let's break them down anyway. So you have your own data segments, like remarketing campaigns, your existing website visitors, YouTube viewers, and YouTube subscribers. There's custom segments, which is people's interests, websites they've been searching that are relevant to buying or selling a home, and also just the relevant search terms as well. Then we have in-market audiences, which is very similar to custom segments, but it's coupled with AI's algorithm to determine what keywords, interests, and websites are lookalike audiences comparatively to just the isolated types of inputs you're putting in for custom segments. And then you have interests / affinity, which is basically just the broader version of in-market audiences. And then you have demographics, which is not really applicable to real estate at all. What I find works the best when it comes down to targeting is in-market audiences and custom segments. We're going to break both of those down right now. So in order to access this, we're going to go back into the ad group section, and we're going to go to the audience section, like I talked about before, and click add an audience, new audience here. First, we're going to go over in market. So all you need to do in order to access this is just, I would name it. Obviously, the audience type I name is in market. And then the types of life events that Google deems as best for motivated buyers and sellers. What I found works best are these 2 life events right here: homeowners and purchasing a home soon. So in order to access this, you're just going to scroll down to interest and detailed demographics, click here, and then just type in what you're looking for. So homeowners, and then type in right here, purchasing a home soon. And there you go. And that's all you need to worry about for in-market audiences. The next is custom segments. So I'm just going to break that down with you as well. Basically, in order to access this, you're going to go to custom segments. You'd also want to rename this to, let's say sellers keywords, for example. You can get rid of these. And then you're just going to click new segment. You can do the same thing here, sellers keywords. And then basically custom segments is just enabling this option here. People who have searched for these terms, any of these terms on Google. And custom affinity would be people with any of these interests or purchase intentions. So if you choose this option, it's only going to target people that have typed in the exact keywords or very, very similar keywords to what you're actually inputting here. So sell my home fast, home. So, and then you can just choose sell my home fast for cash, how to sell your home fast. I need to sell my home fast, and just choose all the relevant ones associated with selling your home. From here, you just click save. And those are the 2 best performing audience types that I find for real estate. And from there, you're going to be in good shape. So the next part of targeting we're going to break down is location targeting. So it's extremely important to understand in real estate because unlike Facebook, Google can allow you, as I showed you before, to target very niche areas while excluding others. So I already broke down hard targeting with you, radius-based, or you can add regions and zip codes. But there's also something called soft targeting, where you can manipulate Google's algorithm and you can add specific callouts within the ads and the headlines in order to resonate with certain people that are associated with those that experience the pain points in the callouts, in the ads, in the headlines, etc. So I'm going to break that down with you a little bit more once we actually upload the ad. But for now, just understanding this as a precursor is very important. understand basically the deal is location targeting is very, very crucial in order to save yourself money so you don't waste your money on people that are just window shoppers, people that are scrolling their phone at night, not looking to actually make a purchase decision. And it's just going to filter out all that crap. So now moving on to the actual ad creatives themselves, we need to break down each type of format that there is with YouTube ads. Every single one of them has different advantages. I find that overall skippable in-stream ads perform the best. And these perform the best, I find, as far as data goes, because users can basically skip your video after 5 seconds and you're not charged for it. So you can basically gain data on who's watching your video without actually having to waste money on it. And this is important in, YouTube videos, in-stream sections of YouTube, which essentially is the placement where, let's say you're watching a long form video, you want to watch, Saturday Night Live, whatever people watch nowadays. And basically it's going to show that ad that you can skip after 5 seconds right before the video plays. And so now you see the selling point for that. The next is in-feed. And this is going to show to highly engaged users in the discovery and the searching phase. This is shown in the YouTube home feed and the YouTube search section as a picture ad. Now, this is going to be important because those who have already found an interest in selling their home, for example, are going to find this useful because they need to see is a call out in order to then pique their curiosity. It's going to resonate with them. They're going to click it. They're going to go to a landing page, which hopefully you have that's optimized for collecting their information and providing value. The next type of ad format that works well is a non-skippable in-stream section. The benefit of this is basically having users watch your entire ad and they can't skip it, so they have to view your whole message. This is basically just as good as skippable in-stream. It's a little bit less effective overall, simply just because it's hard to get your message across within about 15 seconds, which is the max length I would post as one of these ads. But if you have the right messaging and the right scripting, this can work as effectively as skippable in-stream. If you're starting off, just use skippable in-stream. So next we have bumper ads. This is just a quick message that can't be skipped. In order to raise awareness or reinforce other ads. These are really good for remarketing ads when you have existing data from past clients and you just want to get your face out there for the mere exposure effect, just to keep them top of mind, and then essentially just get them to take that click, get them to resubmit their information, put them back into the sales process, give them a sense of urgency, whatever you have to do in order to seal the deal. And finally, YouTube Shorts, which isn't really used as much. It's basically, the compelling argument with this is that it can basically be shown to highly engaged users in a mobile optimized experience. I find these don't perform as well, which is why I'm saying I usually just uncheck them. And if you're going to post these, just make sure that the ads are 60 seconds or under. And so now we're moving on to the most crucial aspect of the success of your YouTube ads funnel, which is the actual scripting and framing of the ads itself. The most important step you want to take is understanding your ICP, or your ideal customer profile. You need to know their problems, their pain points, their desires, and their biggest mistakes. Because if you can't resonate with those people and you don't have a service that's compelling, that provides enough value, that solves their problems, your ads are going to fail. It needs to speak directly to the client. And you need to know these things in order to basically talk directly and speak directly to them via paid advertising. So the formula that I use for my current clients is the hook, story, close framework. The goal is, within the first 5 to 15 seconds, introduce your hook, basically just calling out the identity of the buyer or seller in this case. Hey, area homeowner, Tucson homeowner, this message is specifically for you. That's a hook. Then you're going to move on to the story, which is basically addressing the benefits, the pains, basically all of that kind of stuff within the next 15 to 120 seconds. And then offer your lead magnet in this point as well to incentivize the lead to take the next step. And in that lead magnet, you should basically be promoting the fact that you're going to solve all of those answers, or those questions rather, that the lead was having, and those pains, step by step, easy to consume, for free. And then finally, within the close, the last 10 to 30 seconds, you're just going to add a call to action, getting the lead to take that next step, to go to the landing page, get that lead magnet, present the offer, and you'll be good to go. So diving into the hook a little bit more, the goal of the hook is to do one thing, and that's to reel the viewer in to watch the rest of the ad. Meaning, you want the hook to be clear and engaging. And what you don't want to do if you want to have a good hook is avoid using jargon, using phrases like probate sale, wholesaling, etc. You want to avoid over-explaining, meaning like selling the ad too hard, coming across as desperate. Desperate lowers your frame, lowers your authority. And having not a lot of authority means people are not going to trust you. People don't trust you. They're not going to work with you. This is 2025. This is not, 1960s. If you can get people to like you, they're going to work with you. You need to make sure that people can trust you because buyers and sellers are getting smarter. So the last thing you also want to avoid is excessive credentials. Do not add credentials when they're not necessary. Because of this, you need to be conscious of the kind of viewer that's going to be watching the ad and how you can use specific language to appeal to them. And this is going to vary based on the type of offer or lead magnet that you're going to be running as well. So here's just some winning formats that you can use. Take a screenshot of this just for me to verbally go over a couple. We have the question hook. For example, have you ever wondered how much money your home is worth in 2025? Or a shocking statement, homeowners have been selling their homes the wrong way this whole time. And as you can see here, I'm adding conviction, I'm adding dynamics to my voice. There's a lot of things that go on to the actual delivery of the ads themselves, but you need to make sure that you have good, compelling words that are associated with your delivery as well. So moving on into the body, this is going to be highly dependent of your lead magnet and offer and or your value proposition and storyline of a given ad. So take your research that you have of your ICP, the pain points, the problems, the desires, all of that stuff, and use that research to create 2 to 4 body variations or angles in your ad that can address the pain points and have a solution to those pain points in an ebook. So just some winning formats of the body. You can have social proof and credibility. You can have the teach sort of format, which is the problem and solution. Basically, the goal with this is to give them the what, not the how. So what are you experiencing? What's the issues? What's the pains? And then how you can solve that is going to be incentivizing them to take the next step to get that piece of content for free in exchange for their contact information. Then finally, providing a unique mechanism and benefits is the last winning format as well. And finally, for the close, the goal here is just to re-engage and prompt the viewer to take the next step. So depending on the length of your ad, you can have 1 to 5 call to actions throughout your ad. And the 2 winning formats here are the urgency and scarcity plus twisting the knife, and then call to action and close the video. And so now, arguably, moving on to something even more important than the scripting itself, we have actually filming. And I'm not talking about editing the video. I'm not talking about even the lighting. I'm talking about your voice and energy management and your conviction that you bring to your video. Energy is going to determine 90% of how you're perceived on camera. And it doesn't matter how good of a script or how good at editing you are. If your delivery sucks, your ads are going to fail. And so it's important to understand voice confrontation with this because this is actually where people get confused. We perceive our voice differently due to air and bone conduction, which basically adds depth and resonance to our voice when we speak out loud. But recordings only capture air-conducted sound, which makes us sound different. So ways to improve yourself besides just recording yourself, hearing yourself back, and improving on there, actionable steps you can take right now. It's basically just deliver 50% more energy than what feels comfortable. You can also mentally prepare with more energy before each recording. Avoid trailing off at sentence ends, so keep the energy going, maintain that. Don't start to trail off and then fall asleep while you're recording. I know it seems a bit silly, but honestly, some people's tonality and the way that they come across in videos actually can seem pretty close to that. And what I find works really well is recording line by line for better control. So for me, sometimes I'll just record a slide. Actually, in this video, I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm sure you saw a little bit of cutscenes. And just being open and honest here, I did that because my energy started to wane. And I took a break sometimes when it comes to recording. In this video, I did take 1 break. And I find that it just really works better when you provide as much energy as possible and give everything your all when it comes to recording, because this is going to increase retention rate. It's going to increase likability, authority, your perceived status, and in the end, trust to get people to work with you. The next thing that's important is the lighting. Yes. Is energy and delivery much more important? Yes, but lighting can make a difference as well. So what I find works best, what I'm actually doing right now, is using natural lighting. You can use golden hour to basically shoot for a warm, gentle lighting during sunrise or sunset. Most of you probably aren't going to wake up at sunrise and record, and sunset might be a little too late for you, but I find it has really gentle, warm lighting that looks really good. And make sure that the light source is actually facing you for a pleasing glow. As you can see here, the light is coming in through the window and hitting my face. If you have the budget, which is not even necessary, invest in softbox lighting. Basically, the goal here is to just strategically place lighting to achieve even illumination on you or the subject that you're recording. And the beauty of this is that you can adjust the brightness in accordance with your preference. So you can fine tune colors, you can set, it's basically the goal of softbox lighting is to have a more granular, more flexible approach to your lighting and make it more consistent regardless of the time of day. If you can invest in this, great, do it. But I found videos that have actually outperformed softbox, really high-end production videos just by using natural lighting, golden hour, or just natural lighting in general in their own office. So just a quick little recording setup that you can use. Either use your iPhone or a DSLR camera if you have that as well, coupled with a teleprompter app if you're using an iPhone. What I find works best is just flipping the phone. If you have an iPhone, it works really well. Flip it so it's facing you, the front-facing camera, and just read off line by line so you don't have to worry about having a script to look down and up and down and up. It just makes the process so much more seamless. What I really suggest you invest in is a lavalier mic or a wireless DJI mic. The audio quality matters a lot. And honestly, a poor quality video versus audio is significantly different. Your audio is going to matter about 80% more than your video. And then finally, we have the actual natural lighting, like we already talked about before. If it's in your office, the greatest budget-friendly way to get great quality recordings. And then lastly, although I do say that it is overhyped, it's still very crucial, would be post-production. So just a quick little tech stack here. You can use CapCut or Premiere Pro to cut the videos. You can use something like Pexels for free B-roll or Artlist for premium B-roll. Or even better, use local B-roll like from your brokerage if you have sources of that, active listings or local partners B-roll. And you want to use Epidemic Sound, so like music and SFX. And then lastly, you can use something like Canva or Photoshop for the thumbnails of your videos, your Discover page, etc., for display network and other types of placements as well. So when it comes down to editing, I can't stress enough, 80% of your time should be spent on the delivery, the scripting, the lighting, etc. The rest of the ad should be focused on clean cuts and simple visuals to elevate your script, but not to replace a poor delivery or a poor script. It does not save bad footage or a bad audio, so make sure that that's in place, but the editing is just like the icing on the cake. So now moving on to actually uploading a video, we're gonna go over that right now. All right, so to upload a video, basically your goal is just head on over to YouTube Studio and head on over to a place where you can basically upload your videos. So for me, you're just gonna go to studio.youtube.com/channel, and you'll have the ability to get to this page. Basically, the goal is to just click create. You can upload a video here, and then you just wanna drag and drop your ad itself. From here, you're gonna leave the title. I would suggest doing the hook's name, the lead magnet, and then your name as well, or you can just leave it like that. And then from there, you're just gonna wanna go on to here, no, it's not for kids, and make sure you post it as unlisted, okay? And then from there, just click save, and you'll be good to go. Once that uploads, then you're just gonna wanna basically click on this. Let's just make this full screen again. Click the three dots, get shareable link, head on back over to your ads account, and then head on over to the ad level, and you can just paste in the ad itself, okay? From here, you also are gonna wanna put in a landing page where you can actually, host a lead magnet. Let's say we're gonna be running an ebook, for example. For this, let's just, use my parent URL, and we're gonna uncheck show a screenshot for a landing page, and also uncheck these two video enhancement options as well. You don't wanna have vertical and square versions of your videos, and basically just, you don't wanna have shorter versions of your videos either. But as far as uploading goes, it's as simple as that, just posting your video into here, and letting it upload. It shouldn't take very long. If your ads are 30 seconds to a minute and 30 long, you should be good. And then from here, basically what you'll want to do is just name the ad. I would name it the hook. As you can see with this client, I named it the hook. And then from here, what you can do is you have to add in your logo. So for my client, I'd add in their face. For you, add in your own. If you have like a studio headshot, use that. And then for the headline, you can do something like, get your seller's ebook now, and you can just copy this and paste it. If you can put your area location as well, that would be even better. So, do something like this. Whoops. And you can honestly just leave all these the same. Always choose learn more for your call to action. And then for your business name, you can just put in your own name for that as well. And then you're basically good to go as far as the ad. This is how you just create an ad. Keep it very simple. As you can see here, you want to make sure that your headline is going to be the same as the landing page, which we're going to break down in a minute, but it's really that simple to get your ads campaign going. So now we're going to be moving on to remarketing, which is one of YouTube's most underrated yet powerful features because It has the ability to take traffic from your website or your YouTube channel and show your specific ads to only that audience. So if you have a YouTube channel already, this is like a golden opportunity to grow your channel while taking advantage of an audience that you've already built. And this works really good with small audiences, even with just like a couple hundred subscribers. And you can also take and retarget that same audience on Facebook and Instagram as well. So now that we've broken down everything associated with the top of the funnel, we're going to move into the middle of the funnel with the lead magnets and landing pages that host those things as well. So let's break down landing pages. The landing page steps are basically just a series of pages that a prospect goes through after they click on the YouTube ad. So they have the ad itself. For example, we have an opt-in page, then a VSL and booking page, which basically, this is important because if they submit their information on here and here, those who submit their information on the booking page, these are the highest intent prospects because they're booking directly into your calendar and want to speak with you directly. Then finally, a thank you page, just to basically promote, testimonials, case studies, and explain the next steps that are required for your offer. So for the opt-in page, I find that the simpler the opt-in page, the better. For this, you're just going to want to have a headline that's congruent with the ad creative's call out. So if you have, hey, Greenville homeowners, learn how to sell your home above list price in as little as 14 days. You'd want to have sell your home above list price or sell your home in 14 days as the headline within the ad itself, as we showed before. And you also want to add a graphic or an image of the lead magnet or end result. And the goal of this is just, it's supposed to be designed to be as seamless as possible. You want them to submit their information as quick as possible and make it as convenient as possible for the lead as well. Then we have the VSL or booking page. Like I said before, this allows high intent prospects to book on your calendar and it'll explain the next steps. It's also going to provide the lead magnet because they already submitted their information on the opt-in page. And once they submit and they book a call on your calendar, they then are going to get redirected finally to the thank you page, which can basically just have a short video of you explaining the next steps, add some case studies, testimonials in there as well, and then a biography of who you are, your experience, etc. So the first thing we need to break down is the value of lead magnets themselves. Why are they important? And the reason they're important is due to 2025 being in a trust recession. I mentioned this in all of my videos. And what you need to understand is there needs to be now a natural progression from your ad creatives towards a low barrier next step, because pitching directly to book a call or work with me is not going to appeal to 95% of the market who aren't in the stage of hiring an agent or haven't built enough trust with you to do so in the first place. And lead magnets serve as a no-brainer offer from your ads because you can give them a complete guide to solving all of their problems, which again builds trust and establishes authority, and allows you to capture their contact information and build trust at scale without having to make them commit to anything too laborious for them. Remember, building authority builds trust, and having a high status also builds trust. Authority, status, same thing, and trust gets you deals. One thing that needs to be mentioned here, though, is that oftentimes agents will hold back information because they think the lead is going to end up doing everything themselves or FSBO. But the reality is prospects simply want to know that you know how to do it because they don't want to actually do it themselves. When people end up doing it themselves, it's often a breakdown and understanding of the value that an agent provides and the time, money, and headache that a good agent is actually able to solve. So, for example here, there's a lot of problems when listing your home. How do I prep to sell? What are some quick ways to increase my home's value? Can I just list by myself, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? They're having a lot of questions. They come to the conclusion that the whole listing thing is pretty difficult. And what most agents will do is they will only solve maybe one or two of these questions. And this is the breakdown and understanding of the value that they're actually able to provide. If you're not answering all their questions, they're probably not going to trust you enough because they just don't find you valuable enough. Let's just be real. But if you can solve every single one of their pain points in a document that's a low barrier step for them, doesn't require a ton of commitment, this is going to skyrocket the trust. And that's the point of being able to create a lead magnet that solves all of these, because they're just going to come to the conclusion that they might as well just hire the person that's able to solve all of my problems. And so when creating lead magnets, there is a special formula that I use that actually creates quality ones, because if your lead magnets are trash, it actually has an adverse effect on your lead or your prospect. They're going to hate you because you're just providing generic information, and it's going to lower your trust, and it might even make them not like you worse than when they actually saw you on the ad itself. So what you want to do is run it through something I call a VAR formula. First is value. So would you honestly pay money for the lead magnet, like $50 or more? And the way you can determine if something's worth $50, $100 or more is, are you providing value that you can't just find by surface level browsing or scoping on Google or whatever search engine you use, okay? You want to make it hard to find or not findable at all, unique, expert insights that only you can provide. The next is it actionable? So do you have an actionable plan that they can implement within 24 hours? And then is it readable? So do you have one idea or image per slide? Then the winning types of lead mags that I find work best are masterclasses, video guides, PDFs or gamma guides, also known as ebooks like presentations, home evaluations, and custom home searches. As far as the format goes, what I find for presentation style lead magnets or the PDFs or the gamma guides, like I was talking about before, is having an introduction to start. Then in part 2, what they actually need to do, why they need to do it, how they can do it step by step, and then providing examples and social proof. So take a screenshot of this as well. This is the winning format that works really well for presentation style lead magnets. So when running this, there are going to be 4 things that you can constantly improve on in the funnel: your cost per lead, your lead quality, your reply rate from the initial lead to conversation, and then your conversation rate from your conversation started to paid client. So if you want to improve this, you need to get a lower cost per lead. And in order to do this, you're going to want to have a higher opt-in rate and a lower cost per click. What I find works best for this is just increasing the ad creatives, split testing them, trying new ones to lower the cost per click and getting a higher opt-in rate. You then also want to generate better leads. You can do this by asking questions in the opt-in form, aka like timeline, budget, etc. Or again, create better creatives, touch on better pain points, fears, desires, or area callouts, etc. Then, in order to get a higher reply rate, you want to give them an incentive to actually work with you. You can provide better newsletters, email copies, and the most important one is the speed to lead. So the time from when they actually submit their information on the form to when you actually contact them. Sub 5 minutes of contact as soon as they submit their information on the form is ideal. It increases conversion rates by 300x, okay? Or 300% rather, about like 37 to 40x reply rate. And then finally, for a higher conversion rate, you just want to post better content. You're going to get better at appointment settings. And this is just through like your skills, your coaching, and you can look at your call reviews, etc. And just providing more proof, whether it's reviews, case studies, or video testimonials, etc. Another good piece of advice, another good piece of information to understand is when you're projecting your ad spend or your budget or your client acquisition, always assume a minimum of a 90-day sales cycle from your ads. It could be shorter, but it might not be. Because if it's shorter, that's great. But if it's not, at least you're prepared. And what's important to understand here is, remember, 95% of the people downloading these lead magnets are completely cold. They've never heard from you before, most likely. And all of your goodwill that you've created with your current audience, your past clients, referrals, etc., is completely irrelevant. So 180 days is the sweet spot for when your pipeline builds on itself and you actually end up getting true consistency if you can stick it out that long. So you can So real quick, you can absolutely implement all of this stuff into your business, today. The thing is, there is going to be a learning curve that it takes. Could be several months, even up to several years, depending on how much time you want to invest. So if you want to work with me to skip the time, the money, and the headache that it takes to learn and optimize these YouTube ads, you can get, with working with me, my 3-step YouTube ad system with scripts, recording done with you, editing and post-production. You also get the lead magnets, the landing pages, and SMS and email marketing built out for you. And if you want this, feel free to book a call in the description below. It's also going to be in the pinned comment as well. Check that out. So finally, just an FAQ, just a really common FAQ that I've been getting is, will this hurt my existing YouTube channel? So to answer this, YouTube looks at an average viewer duration and data only on public YouTube videos. So what this means is, as long as you're uploading your ad creatives as unlisted content, then they will not affect your organic content. So like I said, when we went in and we uploaded that video and we chose unlisted as the option, you're not showing this ad to people. You're not being ranked for it. It's not going to look at, like we just said, viewer duration, data, all that kind of stuff because it's not on public. So if you have any other questions or concerns, please drop a comment in this video. I plan on either answering it in the comments or we're going to make a video about it, making sure we break all of these down. For now, that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.